Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Me Plays Games, where we play games. My name's Dash, and today Matt and I are going to visit the Kalos region and talk about Pokemon X and Y speedrunning.
What up, I'm Matt, and I have 2 legs. The world record for this game belongs to Ringo777 with a time of 3 hours, 41 minutes, 44 seconds. In this video, we'll talk about the route, strategies, and techniques used in this run. To learn more about this run, there will be resources linked in the description, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more speedrunning content. Alright, let's get started.
Like some other games Matt has talked about on the show, changing the date and time affects the run in some way. For this game, you need to set the date to be either February or March 14th, and we'll get into why a little bit later. The time you need to set depends on your skill level in the game and what strats you want to go for. We'll go into more detail when those come up. For this game, you want to pick the female player character, Serena, which makes your rival Clement.
There's a list of names I wouldn't give my kid, and Clement is on that list like 7 times.
Sounds like a knockoff Caleb, honestly.
In most games, choosing the girl makes the game either faster or easier for various reasons, and in this case, it's easier. The stats your rival's Meowstic will have depends on their gender. Calem's male Meowstic is slower, making fights against him safer. The settings for this game are basically the same as any other Pokemon game: fast text speed, battle animations off, and set battle mode, although some battles will use Switch. The fastest way to mash through dialogue in this game is by holding A, mashing B or L, and tapping the touchscreen over and over and over. When you meet with Calem, Shauna, Trevor, and Tierno, make your nickname Lil!!
That could be my rapper name. Also, exclamation point works well because that's the fastest one to input on the 3DS, as opposed to the Game Boy games where A is the fastest. Your starter for the run is going to be Chespin. We're only using him for 3 battles, but he's the only starter that can 2-shot the Pokemon he's going to fight before we throw him away. First up, Shauna's Froakie. You start with a super effective move in Vine Whip, so this battle's pretty easy.
A little later, Calem teaches you how to catch Pokemon. Feel free to take a nap during this part. Anyway, after that on Route 2, you need to look for a Bunnelby and catch it. You'll be using this for a trade to get through the early game shortly.
This trainer in Santaloon Forest is the last time you'll be using Chespin in battle. Head into Santaloon City and find this hiker who'll trade you a Farfetch'd for your Bunnelby.
Hey man, that's kinda rude. He has a name, you know.
Oh, thanks, Cliff. That's a fun name for a hiker. This Farfetch'd is named Quacklin, and it has a jolly nature, which increases its speed and decreases its special attack by 10% each. We're only going to use physical moves in this guy, so that nature is great. It also has maxed out speed IVs, so it's basically as fast as possible for an untrained Farfetch'd, which is great for a speedrun.
Outside Viola's gym, grab a pair of roller skates from this trainer. Try gliding about like me, maybe later. On the way through the gym, Quacklin will hit level 11. In other games, this would be a problem since he's a traded Pokemon, which means he won't follow your commands if he hits a certain level. But this is actually the first generation where traded Pokemon will be obedient up to level 20 if you don't have any badges, as opposed to level 10. Either way, we're not using this guy for too long since there are stronger Pokemon we can catch easily.
Traded Pokemon also gain experience 50 times fast. Wait, no. It's 50%, not 50 times. Anyway, gaining experience quickly is awesome for a speedrun because it means you don't need as many battles to level up. Aerial Ace one-shots both of Viola's Pokemon, and that's 1 gym down. While we're here, what an awful name. Viola? Your parents really named you after the worst string instrument? Your name is Cello now, and I'm not sorry. Bye.
After the battle, you learn Knockoff, a 65 power Dark-type move. It gets rid of your opponent's held item, which isn't all that useful in a speedrun, but hey, it'll come in handy a couple times as type coverage. Next stop, the Trainer School. Pick up 3 X attacks and 3 X defenses here and head out. Side note, I didn't realize I started calling them X defenses instead of X defends in Gen 6 until I started researching this video.
Welcome to Lumiocity. Head over to Sycamore's lab and have a little chat with him. Yep, we've seen 13 different Pokemon and ignored about 10 of them. He also battles you here, and while you can lose the fight in theory and still progress through the story, you still need the money and experience, so you may want to make a safety save here. After that, you get to pick a Kanto starter. Mega Evolution, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, yeah. We won't be doing any fighting with Squirtle, but he's going to come in handy in a couple places later on.
It's important to throw Chespin and the Kanto starter in your PC box after the Sycamore fight. Since you have the EXP share, experience is going to be spread around your party, and you need your main battling Pokemon to get as much of it as possible. After that, runners will sell some stuff and buy the Swords Dance TM. Awesome move, raises your attack 2 stages. In fact, we're going to be teaching Swords Dance to every Pokemon we battle with from now on in this run, starting with Quacklin.
Next stop is this cafe.
I wonder if this guy's the villain.
I mean, have you ever seen a good guy with hair that looks like that? Anyway, from now on, we'll be starting most battles with Swords Dance, and sometimes even 2 or 3 of them. Head to Campfire Town, and this is why you need a specific date for this run. On most days, this NPC will give you 1 sweetheart to increase your Pokemon's friendship. but on February 14th or March 14th, she'll give you 5. February 14th is of course Valentine's Day, but March 14th is White Day in Japan. Traditionally, women will give gifts and chocolate on Valentine's Day, and then the guys will return the favor a month later on White Day.
I don't know about you, but I give you 15 hearts on March 14th since it's also Pie Day.
You know what? Thanks, man.
Anyway, the next order of business is Parfum Palace. Head out back for the Furfrou puzzle, which honestly took me a lot longer to figure out than I'd like to admit. Also, grab this invisible rare candy by the fountain.
Wait, that could have been someone's wish.
Well, if it was, they should have thrown in a penny like everybody else. Watch some fireworks with Shauna and get the Poke-Flute.
Screw it. Catch me making a ROM hack where the only difference in the game is the Poke-Flute is now a Poke-Clarinet.
I do not object to this.
After you wake up the Snorlax, you could just run away since there's not really use for it in the run. Next up is a double battle with Clement against Trevor and Tierno. Your first order of business should be to focus on Tierno's Corphish, then you could double up on Trevor's Pikachu and Flabebe. Let it be known, Matt did not spell Flabebe with the accents in the script. I would also like to have it be known that Matt scripted all of these jokes, not me.
Well, I haven't been spelling Pokemon with the accent either, and you haven't called me out for that. Plus, it's the script, it's not like anybody is gonna see it.
Wait, aren't people gonna see it now that you're putting closed captions on the videos?
Come to think of it, yeah. That was the worst segue ever, but YouTube now has a feature where you can feed it your script and they'll caption our videos automatically. So moving forward, there will be subtitles on all our speedrunning videos. Just figured I should mention that in a video somewhere. Anyway, in Ambred Town, you should just step into the Pokemon Center without healing. This is a setup for a Death Warp later on.
In Glittering Cave, there are unfortunately a bunch of Pokemon that can actually outspeed and kill you. But if you make it through alright, there's a Shadow Claw TM you can pick up for later, as well as a Team Flair grunt.
I'm not the only member of Team Flair, yeah, you don't say, Sherlock. If you were the only member, then it's not a team.
Dang, that's kind of rude.
Considering he's part of an evil team, I think he deserves it.
Well, actually, you got a point there. This isn't a major battle by any means, but let's talk about this Gulpin fight real quick, because it's incredibly dumb. For the most part, the AI in Pokemon has come a long way since Gen 1. By Gen 1, I mostly mean Blaine, but in this run, the Gulpin will use Yawn, so Quacklin will fall asleep at the end of the next turn. But then he uses Poison Gas on turn 2 to poison him instead. The thing canceled out its own status move. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of dumb stuff going on in this cave.
Once Team Flair is taken care of, pretend to listen to Calum, then find a Pokemon to knock you out to send you back to the Pokemon Center. It's faster to white out than to ride back to town on the Rhyhorn you took over here, especially since we don't have a Pokemon for Dig or Teleport in this run. Now that that's done, break the world record for shortest aquarium visit and head to Route 8.
Just got off the phone with Guinness, they're not accepting that as a record category, and you are banned from contacting them ever again. People who douse are called dowsers, huh? That's the most boring trivia I've ever heard.
Did you know that a lawyer is someone who loys?
Terrible jokes from both of us aside, this is a Pokemon League bound X-Train, making local stops wherever we feel like it. Wait, that's also a terrible joke. The next stop is Solange City. Stand clear of the closing doors. Okay, really, Matt? You just wrote in a subway joke when this is where we're buying a bike? Alright, I literally just said terrible jokes aside. Alright, whatever. You can also buy a dozen sodas here, which doesn't seem very healthy, but I'm not a Pokemontologist, so who am I to say?
Anyway, next stop is Geocenge Town for another Death Warp. Then head back down to Route 10 to catch a new Pokemon. Congratulations, your Farfetch'd evolved into Hawlucha.
Yeah, sure, why not? Farfetch'd didn't exist yet, so that works.
In order to get Hawlucha ready for battle, runners will use some rare candies to level it up, teach it Swords Dance and Rock Smash, and take it to get a massage to increase its friendship. You can also go for double massage strats, where you get one massage before fighting the Rock Gym, then another after the clock strikes midnight in the game. In order to do double massage strats, top runners will set their 3DS's time close to 11 PM, but beginners should set it to around 10:40 or so.
Next, pick up the Strength HM, and it's on to the Rock Gym. Climb some walls and fight Grant with Farfetch'd. Psych, is Hawlucha's time to shine, baby. Rock Smash is a weak move, but it's good enough to get you through this fight.
Then he grants you the second gym badge.
Wow, you are the absolute worst. Anyway, once you're done with the gym battle, head outside and find a Pokemon to spam Swords Dance on and die. That'll take you all the way back to Geocenge. Deposit Quacklin in the PC and move on.
Geocenge Town is a town of stones. Wow, this place needs a better anthem.
I'm on it.
Very cool. Hello, Karina. Guess we'll one-shot both of her Lucario and be on our way. To tell you the truth, I'm thinking of never leaving this place. Well, are you sure your Lanoon would be okay with that? Hi, Tierno. This is worthless, thanks. Once you get to Shalor City, grab this Soothe Bell. It'll make your Hawlucha's friendship increase faster, which is important because that'll allow you to get a Lucky Egg later. Welcome to the Tower of Mastery. Blah blah blah, Mega Evolution, bye.
Next up is a Clement fight. Meowstic has the same speed stat every time you play, so what runners will do is take a quick look at Hawlucha's stats when he levels up to see if they need to use an X speed. Once you're faster, you can try to lock Meowstic into a garbage move like Fake Out or Light Screen with Encore. Those aren't actually bad moves, but they're garbage in the sense that they're useless if you're forced to spam them. Light Screen doesn't do anything anyway since we're using physical moves.
Next order of business is the Solange City gym, where we'll be fighting Karina.
Just wanted to take a second to point out PSA, one of the trainers in the gym, is called Roller Skater Dash, and I think that's pretty dope. Never mind, I'm gonna push her over, goodbye.
On the way to Karina herself, you learn Flying Press, a unique move that deals flying and fighting type damage at the same time. That makes it super effective against normal, grass, fighting, ice, and dark, but neutral against rock, bug, and steel. In order to one-shot Karina's Pokemon, you need to raise your attack 3 or 4 stages and use Wing Attack.
Welcome back to the Tower of Mastery. This time, you're here to fight Karina again, except you're using one of her 2 Lucario in a mirror match. Wonder why she doesn't use them in the gym battle.
Would you use your favorite Pokemon if you were a gym leader?
Yeah. Breloom can handle a few birds.
No, he categorically cannot.
Anyways, for our purposes, we can just spam Swords Dance until we lose. Karina says it's quite apparent that we make a truly incredible team. Were we watching the same battle? Ah, scripts. Whatever. Lucario is going to be the one Pokemon we use for most of the rest of the game, but Hawlucha will still see some use here and there. If Lucario faints, gets a static condition, or is too slow, we'll pull out Hawlucha. While you're here, you also pick up the Low Sweep TM. It's a 65 power fighting move that lowers your opponent's speed. Not the greatest move in the universe, but we'll be upgrading it a few times as we go.
Hi Shauna, bye Shauna. Grab the Surf HM from Clement, and for the 7th time in the last hour or so, think to yourself, oh my god, they named a video game character Clement. You can get a Lapras on Route 12 as well. Pick it up and teach it Surf and Strength. Then teach Lucario Low Sweep and Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb isn't all that great, but it's the best we've got for flying types.
In Cormorant City, you get the Fly HM from Professor Whatever. And it's time for another Clement fight. Second verse, same as the first. Hope he uses Light Screen to freak out and lock him into it with Encore. Next major fight is the Grass-type gym leader Ramos. Runners will fight his last 2 Pokemon with Hawlucha, but they might use Lucario for Jumpluff. That all depends on how fast Hawlucha is, because unlike Lucario and Farfetch'd, we don't know its IVs since we caught it ourselves in the wild. Once that's done, head to the Pokemon Center to do some quick shopping.
You know, I'm down for the Pokemon Centers and Pokemarts being in the same building in recent games, but can we take a second to talk about how weird that is? It's basically a vet's office and pet store under the same roof.
I mean, says you. I own a combination of a vet's office, pet store, Pizza Hut, and a Taco Bell all in one in rural Nebraska.
By this point in the game, Hawlucha's friendship should be high enough that you can get this Lucky Egg for Lucario. This will make it so that he gains experience 50% faster like a traded Pokemon. If your friendship isn't high enough, use a power point up on one of Hawlucha's moves. You also want to teach Fly to Hawlucha and turn off the EXP share. Otherwise, half of the experience you gain is going to go to a Pokemon we're not going to use all that often in battle from here on out.
Lumio's Badlands is another place to take into consideration when deciding what time to set your 3DS to before the run. The wind blows for 10-minute intervals here, so you want to get here during a 10-minute window with no wind to get to the power plant. If you miss, it's alright, just a tad bit slower. Now that we're here at the power plant, let's skip ahead because not a lot of interesting stuff happens for a while. You one-shot most Pokemon here, especially since Lucario knows Bone Rush. It's a multi-hit ground-type move that has the potential to go up to 125 base power. A lot of the time, you have to pray you get enough hits to one-shot though, because a few Pokemon here take 4 or 5 hits. The Team Flair admin doesn't put up much of a fight, and neither does Aliana because picking up garbage moves is fun and cool.
Hello, Mysterious Man. Next stop is Lumiocity again for the gym.
Did you know that this city's gym leader Clement's name is spelled like that because you can use lemons to make a battery?
Of course it is. Anyway, the answers to Bonnie's quiz are the same every time, so you can just memorize the numbers. Since you've got a ground-type move in the electric gym, you can one-shot every Pokemon on the way to Clement. You also learn Aura Sphere on the way, which you teach over Low Sweep. It's an 80 power fighting move that never misses. Cool, on to Clement. It's not the most dangerous fight ever, but he has an Emolga, which of course is immune to your Bone Rush. Speaking of which, after the fight we retire Bone Rush and replace it with Shadow Claw, a ghost-type move that's going to come in handy with plenty of Psychic types coming up.
Time for another fight against Clement. You don't have Encore anymore, so you've got to beat him the old-fashioned way. Head to the spooky house and be sure not to tip the guy there.
Well, that's not very nice.
Money is tight in speedruns, okay? We have like $4, leave it alone. In Lumiocity City, head straight for the gym to fight Fairy-type specialist Valerie. Every trainer here is a spinner, which basically means they just spin around in random directions. If they see you, you have to battle them, which obviously wastes time. In the world record, Ringo's Repel runs out right before you battle Valerie, so he has to apply another one right in front of her.
I like to imagine Serena's acting like it's Lysol or something and she's telling Valerie her gym stinks.
I'd like to think Pokemon protagonists wouldn't make that the first thing they say to someone they've never met.
Anyway, you gotta max out your attack with Swords Dance to one-shot her whole team. Then you follow your friends to the Pokeball Factory, do Pokemon protagonist things, and take out Team Flair. The Pokemon world is weird, man. Every conflict is settled by a Pokemon battle and the loser just leaves.
Says you. Whenever I'm tired of someone, I just race them to finish a Sudoku first and kick them out when I win.
And when you lose?
Leave, duh. Hasn't happened before though. I'm a national Sudoku champion in the Maldives. Alright dude, I'm pretty close to going off script here, Jesus.
Calem is also here, but who cares? You get a Master Ball and Big Nugget for your troubles. Neat. On the way out of town, you can buy some proteins. These are optional, but you can use them to increase your effort values in Lucario's attack stat. This will make it so that Lucario has a better chance of knocking out certain Pokemon later on if you go for it. Once you get to Dendemil Town, head straight for Frost Cavern. Blah blah blah, Team Flair, goodbye. Head down Amoswine Road to Anastar City.
Oh god, another Calem fight, great.
Can we talk about how this ding dong has 2 psychic types on his team?
Hey man, don't call him that, that's insulting to doorbells. Anyway, while we're in town, let's fight Olympia's Psychic Gym. The first trainer here is one reason why you might want to use proteins. Normally, this Exeggutor has a 15 in 16 chance to be a one-shot, but it's guaranteed with the proteins. This is the only trainer you fight before Olympia, by the by. Now that we have a ghost move, her psychic types aren't a problem at all.
Well, that wasn't a very Olympic performance.
Oh god, you know what, this one actually wasn't that bad. I'll give you that.
Back in Lumiocity, we discover Lysander's secret lab. Before fighting him for the first time, some runners will change the battle style to Switch to make the fight a little bit safer. Basically, Gyarados is the worst thing in the universe. So send out Lapras as a meat shield and Gyarados will lock himself into Outrage instead of using Earthquake. Now it's safe to switch Lucario back in to finish him off.
On the way through the lab, you learn Close Combat, a 120 power, 100 accuracy fighting move. Pretty good, but there are 2 major drawbacks. For one, it lowers your physical and special defenses by 1 state each, which isn't the worst thing in the universe since most of the time you're setting up to one-shot everybody. But the other problem is that it only has 5 PP, or power points. This isn't too bad right now, but it will be later on. After fighting Mabel, head downstairs and watch a 3-minute cutscene, then follow Lysander and fight Xerosic. After beating him, push the red button and head back to Geocenge Town.
By this point in the run, you have 6 Pokemon: Chespin, your Kanto starter, Lapras, Lucario, Hawlucha, and Farfetch'd. While you're in the Pokemon Center, be sure to put all of them in your party. We're about to catch the box legendary, in this case Xerneas, and after you do, the game will either ask you if you'd like to add it to your party or put it there automatically depending on whether your party is full. It's best to just send it straight to the box.
Next up, Team Flair HQ. See Matt, nobody with that kind of hair is the good guy ever. Evil monologue, blah blah blah, yeah, fight me. Once again, there's a safe strat for Gyarados, and it's basically the same as last time. Change the battle mode to Switch, send in Lapras to lock him out into Outrage, then bring in Lucario to finish him off. Rock Tomb is a range without proteins, or in other words, there's a chance you don't one-shot him, but it's guaranteed if you took your vitamins. Anyway, the run goes for the riskier strat, where they keep the battle style on set, then send in Lapras to die and bring Lucario back in. It's possible that Gyarados uses Earthquake with this strat though, which is dangerous because Lucario is a Steel type, so he's weak to ground.
Head downstairs with Calem, fight some Team Flair admins, and catch Xerneas. You can also do this run in Pokemon Y, but why would you do that?
Alright, what's the fastest way to make puns illegal? That was terrible.
There's another Lysander fight here, but luckily this one is easier. Gyarados Mega Evolves for this fight, replacing its flying typing with Dark. That turns its fighting resistance into a weakness. Obliterate him with Close Combat. Cutscenes, bye. Kuraway Town is up next and the professor wants to battle.
Wait, how does he have a Blastoise? We took a Squirtle earlier, right?
Huh, I guess starter Pokemon aren't as rare as the games would have you believe.
On Route 19, you fight Shauna, Trevor, and Tierno. You know, I don't think it's safe to be having Pokemon battles on this type of bridge.
Lucario used literally any move ever. The bridge collapsed and everybody died. OSHA only deals with workplaces, and I'm not proud to admit I had to look that up, but maybe they should regulate safety on bridges as well.
Grab the Waterfall TM from Shauna and get off this freaking bridge. Next, Snowbell City, where we make a beeline for the Winding Woods to meet the gym leader Wolfric. As you might imagine, a fighting type and a steel type in an ice gym is a winning combination. Although Lucario never learns any steel type moves during this run. Whatever, not really that important. Leave the gym by skating across thin ice platforms with no guardrails. This seems safe and cool. Not. I wonder what's less safe. Skating on these ice platforms or battling on that bridge before.
Congrats, you now have all 8 gym badges. Time for the Pokemon League. Check out this turbo loser. His job is to stand around, wait for someone to drop by with gym badges to count, then he fights them even though they're obviously ready for the Elite Four. Head through Victory Road and teach Lucario Shadow Claw again. Dispose of Calem's team and keep on truckin'. There's a bunch of other mandatory trainers along the way as well, but hey, it's more experience and we need as much of it as we can get.
At the Pokemon League, you're going to want to deposit every Pokemon in your party except Lucario. In this game, you can fight the E4 in any order you like, So runners will go for Malva first, and then work their way around counterclockwise. Or clockwise if your family runs a company that specializes in mirrored clocks whose hands rotate the other way. Not sure why anyone would want those, but nothing's stopping them from existing, so why not?
Let's head to the Malva fight, shall we? Use Swords Dance on Pyroar, then dance again if it lowers your attack with Noble Roar. If it attacks you, you're fine though. Talonflame, Torkoal, and Chandelure are all one-shots, and then... oh. That's it. Right, the Elite Four only has 4 Pokemon each in this game.
$4 says it was some Game Freak employee's 4-year-old kid who came up with that.
You're on.
Alright, next I guess. Let's fight Steel Specialist Wilkstrom. Or is it Wickstrom? I actually never remember. If you got all the proteins and rare candies, Klefki is a guaranteed one-hit KO with Shadow Claw after 2 SCs. We're gonna take some damage on purpose against Probopass because otherwise when Aegislash comes in, it'll protect itself with King's Shield. So just let yourself get hit by Earth Power. Take out Aegislash and Scizor, and that's 2 fights down. We only have so many power points and items to restore them, so having moves not do anything because of a protecting move just isn't an option.
Next is Drazna, the Dragon Trainer. Dragalge can paralyze you, which isn't the worst thing in the universe, but you'd have to waste some time healing. You're gonna take some damage from Druddigon's Rough Skin, but that's okay. Use your last power point of close combat against Altaria. Restore it with an Ether, give Lucario the Lucario Knight so he can Mega Evolve, and head for the final member of the Elite Four, Water Specialist Seabold. After Mega Evolving, Clawitzer is a one-shot. Gyarados isn't guaranteed though, and if you miss the range, he can use Earthquake and have a chance to kill you. Then Barbaracle and Starmie are one-shots.
Now it's on to the champion, Diantha. If Hawlucha gets a crit, you die. Goodra and Tyrantrum aren't problematic. Then, if you have power points on close combat, you can use it on Aurorus. Shadow Claw, Gourgeist, and Gardevoir, and that's the game. Well, sorta. There's one last fight against AZ, but you can just spam Swords Dance and then die. The run ends when the screen fades to black.
And there it is. That's how Pokemon X can be beaten in under 4 hours. Leave a comment letting us know what other games we should cover. Alright, good night fellas, sleep well.